Hey guys, this is Jordan. I just wanted to show you real quick and make a video to show you the layers of a food forest and how it actually works. Here's a couple plants growing underneath of a tree. It can be anything from flowers and ferns and vines, but then I also want to show you a larger scale. You look here, here's an oak tree, and there are trees growing underneath it. There are bushes and shrubs growing underneath it. There are ground cover growing underneath it, and if you look closely on the trunk, there's even plants growing up it. So the idea behind the food forest is to mimic these systems that are found in nature and just replace them with plants that produce food. That can be anything from a nut tree to a mango tree, and then smaller trees like katuk and curry underneath that. Here we have a sea grape on the end here. You can use annuals too. You can include your carrots and onions and tomatoes underneath that, and think vining plants like kiwis and passion fruits and grapes. So here what we're doing is establishing ground cover. That can be strawberries, perennial peanuts, mimosa, really anything that you can think that stays low. We even use beans as an annual to fix nitrogen into the soil. So here we have bananas, coconuts, pineapples. Obviously, as our taller layers and shrub layers, we have watermelon and beans and perennial peanuts on the bottom. And once that ground cover establishes, it's going to shade the soil, hold in nutrients, hold in moisture. And the whole point is to mimic the systems in nature to feed the plants, to water the plants, to provide shelter and safety and structure for the plants using other plants and or animals. So the main reason I wanted to make this video is because I'm over here weeding our spiral garden. And you may notice that it is overgrown with grasses and what some may call weeds, but to me it's a beautiful thing. Seeing that green is shading the soil. It's holding in that moisture, so the weeds are actually benefiting me at this point. If I go around, I'll show you. Here's a watermelon plant growing amongst the weeds, and this only gets a small topical watering maybe once a day. But the soil underneath is rich and black. We can dig down and see that maybe. If you can see that, I'm not sure. And then we have lavender growing here. And as we continue around the circle, there are strawberries and watermelon and peas and peanuts growing throughout this. And what I'm doing with the weeds, if you can see what I'm doing, is just ripping them up and throwing them in a pile in the center of this spiral. And I'm essentially doing in the garden what goats would have to be doing, would be weeding, eating the vegetation, breaking it down, leaving some on the soil. They leave it, as trimmings and excrements, so to have chickens and birds and things foraging, eating all your bugs, and doing this work for you. The only difference between what a garden does and a food forest does is we've taken on all the responsibility ourselves. So to make it easy, just use one of the tools that nature has already provided. So good luck gardening, keep growing for good, and I'll talk to you soon.